I want to talk next about domain names, and I want to talk about your web address. And I saved this for last because I actually believe it's one of the most important things to consider, and we're going to spend a little time on it. Your web address is your home on the web. If you pick a good name, you're going to have it for a long time. And so it requires careful thought. You're going to be talking about it every day. You're going to be marketing it every day. You're going to be sending and receiving emails using it every day. So you want it to be something that you can live with, okay? And so I want to give you some rules about picking. First of all, where do you get your name? How do you pick a good domain name? And then we'll talk a little bit later about marketing it. So where do you get a domain name? What should it cost? First, you can get it at GoDaddy. By the way, I hate GoDaddy, but it's not because they're a bad company. I'm just jealous of them. They're very successful, and you know what? They answer their phone, and they're actually pretty good company. I like GoDaddy quite a bit for many things. I don't like all their products. And there are others. You can go to Network Solutions, networksolutions.com. You can go to register.com. You can buy domain names very easily. You're going to go there, and you're going to put in the name you want, okay? And you're going to find it'll be a little difficult to get your domain name, the name you want, in a .com address. However, I am going to encourage you very strongly to get a .com address, and I'm going to give you some reasons why. You can buy .net, you can buy .biz, you can buy .org, and for a nonprofit that would be an exception. You can buy .us, you can buy .us.com. You can buy many, many others, all right? But here's the deal, and I'll give you a story to make this example. About, I want to say 6 or 8 years ago, when President Bush was running for re-election, okay, Dick Cheney was being interviewed by Larry King, and there was a fact in dispute. And so what Dick Cheney said, he said, look, Larry, I want your viewers to go to factcheck.com. And they're going to see that what these people are saying about President Bush is just not true. Please send your viewers to factcheck.com. So millions of viewers around the United States went to factcheck.com to verify what Dick Cheney was talking about. And what they found there was a book written by George Soros about why we should not re-elect President Bush. Now, how did that happen? And by the way, I'm not being political here. I'm making a point. The point is that Dick Cheney made the same mistake that your customers are going to make each and every day. It was factcheck.org. Now, think about this for a second. Verizon, Yellow Pages, IBM, General Motors, Chrysler, Ford. These are AT&T, Sprint. These are companies, T-Mobile, that spend aggregately billions of dollars advertising their what type of domain? They advertise .com. Why would you not want to take advantage of that for your business? Your business domain name should end with a .com, unless you're a nonprofit. And even if you're a nonprofit, you should still buy the .com version. You can do what they call a redirect and make it point to your .org for those visitors that make a mistake. Okay? Now, a couple of things also to consider. And by the way, a domain name, what does it cost? It costs about you can spend between $10 and $30 a year. And you can buy a domain name or reserve a domain name for up to 10 years. So you can, reserve it for 1, 2, 3, 5, or 10 years or more. Oh, not more than 10 years. Okay? And all you have to do is remember to renew it. And if you remember to renew it, you can have your domain name for the rest of your life. There's a presumption of renewal. I'm going to give you a very important caveat now. Registering a domain name is always a do-it-yourself proposition. Never let anybody else, including your web designer, register your domain name. Okay? Now, here's the reason. There's a lot of reasons for this. Number one, let's say you hire a web designer and he registers your domain name for you. You're too busy. You're a big real estate agent. You're making deals every day and you're doing very well. And you don't have time for that kind of stuff. Let the technical guys handle that, right? Well, I've met many people, and I'll give you an example. I have, my son is a web designer, and he has a customer who's a record producer in Los Angeles, and has a very thriving website, sells all kinds of music, and he represents bands and all this kind of thing. He's very busy. And one morning he woke up and his website was gone, and he didn't know why. Obviously he called my son, and what happened, he did register the name himself, but what happened to him was he didn't change his email in the registrar. He didn't go into GoDaddy after he had changed his email address and fix that to make sure that GoDaddy was sending the renewals to the proper address. So therefore, GoDaddy was sending their renewal emails to an old email address that he didn't have anymore. And what happened is they sent 1 renewal, 2 renewals, 3 renewals, reminder, 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 expiration, and finally deletion. They deleted that domain name, and some guy in China bought it. And honestly, it cost him about $3,000 to get it back. There wasn't much he could do. He had a trademark. In all legal terms, he had every right to the name. But, when you're dealing with somebody in China or some other country that is, how do you go after them? You just don't have any. And he had to pay that guy. The guy basically extorted it, and he got his name back.